HMG Weekly Wrap-Up. Bringing you the latest headlines in the news, what you missed on the podcast, upcoming events, community updates, and stories spotlighting our community heroes. This is where the week gets wrapped up, HMG style. And now, here's your host, Mr. Adam Bird.
Wow, that was a horrible transition, and I apologize for that. Let's, where am I? There we are. I've done this before. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday to you. Hope all is well out there in the old interweb lands. It's good to see everybody. Hopefully you guys can hear me. If you can, give me a thumbs up. I'm going to be looking down a lot because the computer's here. The camera's up here this week. As you can tell, we're not in the home office this week. We're on the road. And, yeah, we're down in North Carolina, Chapel Hill area to be more precise. So if anybody is down in the Raleigh-Durham, Chapel Hill area this weekend, hit me up. Let me know. Love to connect. Everybody on, thank you, dear. The Mrs. HMG's giving me the thumbs up on the old Instagram there. Let me know that we're good. Appreciate you. Ken, good morning, brother. How are you out there in Arizona? Appreciate you jumping on. We got Bombshell Suds company on the Instagram. And I got my nephew, it looks like. So this will probably be a short show this week. I don't know. We're going to see. But I'm going to have a very special guest come on here in a little while. As well. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a great week. It has been a crazy week in the news, right? We're going to talk about some of the things here in just a bit, but as you guys know, let me share this out so we can get more of you all on there. And if you guys wouldn't mind sharing this, leave a comment if you guys see this now or later on. Very much appreciate it. So let me just share this real quick, and then we will get everything started. Like I said, crazy week this week, right? What do you guys think we should start off with? I think we should start off with, what was it, on the Army birthday. Let's be honest. It's like second, third most important day of the entire year for this country, right? Some of us would argue it was the first. I certainly would. Army birthday, 251 years of kicking ass and taking names, greatest army in the world. So happy birthday, Army, as we got to celebrate you guys earlier this week. And then, unfortunately, the next day, on June 15th, there was a... most of you saw the crash at Edwards Air Force Base. Let me see here, pull this up here. We lost 8 great Americans Monday on the 15th. The big B-52 Stratofortress, which is very odd that it crashed, but it crashed shortly after takeoff. It was on an AESA radar test mission. There were 8 people on board from military, civilian contractors, and there was 2 Boeing employee contractors as well. So what we're going to do right now for the next 10 seconds, we're going to take a moment of silence for those that perished in that crash. All right. For the families out there that are grieving, it's nothing I could say is going to make it any better than our thoughts and prayers are with those families. What else? I'm going through quick. Not a lot this week because it's, like I said, we're on the road. Something I thought cool. Let's end it on a good one here. What was it? This was the 18th. So yesterday, this happened yesterday down in D.C. The White House and President Trump presented the Medal of Honor to a retired Marine Major James Capers Jr., 88 years old. Did you guys see this? I think this was incredible. Capers was the first African-American commissioned Marine officer to receive the Medal of Honor. That's what it says. I feel like that wasn't completely accurate, but nonetheless, at the same ceremony, the Medal of Honor was also awarded to a Marine Colonel John Ripley. Rest in peace, sir. David, good morning to you. How are you? About Major James Capers. The action that he got the Medal of Honor for, April of 1967, South Vietnam, Major Capers led a 9-man force recon team through a brutal ambush. He took shrapnel, broke his leg, and the man just kept going. When it came time to extraction, he got his team to the extraction zone where the helicopter could pick him up. It was too heavy to lift off. He tried to jump off the helicopter twice, and they had to pull him back in. He refused to board the helicopter unless they took the body of their military working dog as well. He originally received a Bronze Star for his actions, upgraded to a Silver Star in 2011, and now, 59 years later, the Medal of Honor. So Congress had to pass a special legislation because the action was well past the 5-year statutory limit. In Capers' words, and I quote, he said it was about getting his the team and the dog home safely. That's it. It wasn't heroism in his mind. That's the whole story. That's pretty cool. Major Capers, thank you for your service, sir. Let me see here. What do we got here? When you see stuff like that, 90% of the time, shortcuts. Yep. And it's horrible that stuff happens. It seems like all the time. So what else happened this week? That's really it. I'm not going to talk about the negative stuff that we see in the news, crap like that. We'll save that for next week when I'm back in the home office. This weekend is Father's Day weekend. So got to give a shout out to all you dads out there, showing up for your kids, doing hard work, and getting probably little credit for it. But you guys are doing a fantastic job. So keep up the good work. Right now, what I want to do is I'm doing it a little bit different. I want to bring on a special guest, and then I'm going to talk about what you missed on the shows this week. So the special guest today, we're getting gypped. Hold on now, David. We're not getting gypped. What do you mean getting gypped? You see, this is the stuff I got to put up with. No negative, all positive moving forward. Thank you, Mark Peterson. I know Big Mark. I always appreciate appreciate your support. I'll get this guy mic'd up here, hopefully. So for those of you, I'll scoot over here. It is Father's Day weekend here for everybody. And this here, scoot in just a little bit, bum. This is my son, Christopher. And they can't see us on the Instagram. That's fine. He's there. Just peek your head in there. Those of you know my story, those of you that followed me for a long time, I don't think you've done a show with me.
I think I've popped my head in a couple of times, but certainly not to this degree.
Yeah. So you couldn't have done that before you came on the camera?
No.
You guys see what I put up with? And then you're starting this off really well. So. Your mother's gonna kill you.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, Father's Day weekend, and for those of you that know the story, a lot of you guys on here, David Gordon, the gentleman that served with, Ken, another gentleman I served with. I mean, a lot of these guys, they were there when you were, very little. But I wanted, this was pretty special. I thought, coming down here this weekend to spend Father's Day with you. and whatnot. And I thought maybe we could do something a little bit different. I asked you kind of just a couple of questions. Most people, I talk about you on the show, and stuff like that, and kind of what you've done through the last couple of years. So you've graduated college, right?
Yep.
You're in you graduated college, ROTC, and of course there's certain things you can't talk about or whatnot. Just punch the leg, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you got commissioned, which was great, right? Very proud dad moment.
Thank God.
Right there. Right. And then you decided you kind of took a different path than what I think most probably anticipated. And it kind of surprised me when you first started talking about it, because your initial plan in ROTC was get commissioned, go infantry, and then maybe potentially go back to, you've always talked about potentially serving in the chaplain corps or doing more. Where did that decision come from?
All right. Well, two things. One,
yeah.
I get to swear. Just want to make sure that I'm not accidentally letting things slip or anything.
Keep it very minimum.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha. So at least I asked. So originally, growing up, a lot of my thought process of like what the Army was like the hua stuff. Yeah. So, the kicking down doors, the breaching, the being out in the field and being miserable. Like that was all the stuff that I look forward to. And in tandem with that, as I was getting older, and the fact that I grew up, surrounded by a lot of y'all, a lot of vets, I realized that there was a large need for support that didn't seem to be happening. That was, right around the time where some of the VAs were getting really, really bad, and there were a lot of deaths due to that, and just overall mental health things. And so I knew that there's a support element that needed to be provided. And I got injured at Air Assault, and that was kind of my awakening moment on my way home in crutches. And I was like, okay, maybe this is God telling me that like this isn't my story. Like he has something else planned for me. And I, like you said, already kind of had been looking at the chaplain corps, and that was kind of my cementing moment of, all right, cool. I think this is where I'm being pulled in. I think this is the direction.
So we're in North Carolina right now. It's not where you're stationed,
no,
or anything like that. You're doing an internship for the summer at a VA as a.
I'm a chaplain intern. So for the next 8 weeks, and I'm on week 4 right now, I'll be at the Durham VA, walking around, checking in on vets in different capacities, and being a chaplain.
And you've had some pretty good experience doing that now so far.
Yeah.
So I want to back up a little bit, move this way just a little bit, because I see you there. Turn the camera a little bit, maybe, as it falls. That's awesome. We know what we're doing here, folks. Promise.
The production value on this.
This is. I spent a lot of money on the production for this. Can you kind of go back and maybe say what your experience was like, growing up with a dad, or being you mentioned earlier, like, you were constantly around vets. That's basically who we hung out with, right? But can you talk a little bit about growing up with a military dad that was a single parent? What was kind of like your experience from the single parent as the child?
Yeah, I think as a kid, there was a lot of things that I didn't understand at the time. And it was, being in that environment and being in a military environment, like you kind of, you grow, if you're not grown up, you grow up fast. And I think a lot of that is attributed to like the discipline that was instilled in me at a very young age. Like even now, I will have people that I work with tell me like, hey, you can call me by my first name. And I'm like, oh, I appreciate that, sir. And like, I just refuse to do it. It's weird for me. Like, because growing up, it was like, it's yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, P's and Q's. Like that is the standard. And so like, what were things, difficult at sometimes? Sure. But like, I never once stopped feeling like I was loved. I never stopped feeling like I wasn't being formed. But it wasn't until I was older, especially once I started ROTC, especially once I got into post commissioning, and now in my master's program, like the hindsight caught up and being like, oh shit, like I am the way that I am because of the way that you raised me. And
I'm not paying him to say that either, but
when does the check clear, by the way? No, but in all actuality, being able to have kind of a one up on some people and not even realizing it until being in the moment of just like, oh, like I've been doing this since I was like 6. Like you guys are just kind of catching up with it. Like, it's a really good and strong foundation. And it took me until getting into those places where I was being prepared for me to realize that preparation had already been done.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. That means a lot, Sean, thank you, brother, for leaving a comment. Let me ask you this. What would be one positive memory that you have growing up? I said positive.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that come through, like, having a single parent, it made all of the experiences that much more personal. So like going out, having lived in Avondale, like going to Harkins Theater all the time to like watch movies. Our tradition of like, was it Wednesdays? Or was it Wednesdays or Tuesdays that Buffalo Wild Wings had like a 69-cent wing, and like we'd occasionally do that when we got home. What I'm just remembering is like Dad encouraged me to do like 15 to 20 minutes of reading every single night, and at the moment I hated it, but I would do it. And our school had a program, and so like I'd get like free Sonic corn dog or something like that, and so like he without fail he'd take me there. We used to go out in the middle of the desert to launch rockets, and ride around and things. So like
the model rockets.
Yes, not actual. I'm not talking about anything that I shouldn't be. But yeah, like I have a lot of strong memories of that sort of father-son bond. And we even now, like two of our phrases, we have the one that Pop's got tattooed on his arm, I've got tattooed on my back, the upbeat and positive, stay engaged. And that one's,
and that's we started that, like I started saying
when
that
I started
to you,
when I started school,
grade school, and went through all the way
to college,
through college, and sometimes even today, still,
So like there's that, and then there's also, Dad will occasionally say like, Daddy's boy, and I always say always be Daddy's boy. And like as a kid, it was like like isn't that cute? But even now, it's like very reaffirming of what this relationship is to me, because it's just like it's like,
and it's because I hear some people kind of in the background like, Dad, he's 23 years old, and it's like when your kids grow up, they don't stop being your kids. They become young adults and whatnot, but they're always like you. And as a single parent, for me, it's like watching you grow up was awesome, and it was like I like my whole life, like my being was Dad. Everything else was just like, we'll figure it out as we go. But it was like, as long as you were protected, this was my mindset, at the time. And, being a single parent, isn't easy, but at the same time, I don't think I would have changed. I certainly wouldn't have changed anything, because there was we got to do a lot of cool stuff. Trish, good morning. How are you? Who's that right there? Pop, good morning. But it's like, and then watching you grow up now, like, it's it's cool watching you get into your own, and there's still very proud moments and whatnot. And as parents, you always want to, be there. Like, my dad's on, right now, and he's one of my best friends, and because you got the opportunity to spend a lot of time with your grandparents and whatnot. And to me, that was an important thing to make sure that you had, growing up. Parenting isn't easy. I think what I tell people, because I unfortunately, a lot of people, I got lucky in a sense of, and not so much for you per se, and not to go out into too much detail, but I was fortunate that it was just me at the time as the parent. And then I had support from my family. They lived, several hours away, but they helped out when they could and stuff like that. But I didn't have the co-parenting thing that I had to worry about. So it was like, I made the decisions. It was this, and that's not always the case for split homes or anything like that. The point that I'm making is like, parenting isn't easy. There's you can read about parenting books and all that, and it's all, to me, I think it's all crap. I think it's you just need to go in and if your kid grows up and isn't a douchebag, you did a good job. Give yourself some credit. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things that for me, it's been. I tell people the greatest job I've ever had in life was God allowing me to be your father, like hands down. And second was being in the military. It was like, for the longest time, at first it was military, but then once you were born, it was like being a dad's best job in the world. And for all you dads out there, it's the greatest responsibility you'll ever carry is being a father. It is also the hardest job you'll probably ever have in your life, is being a parent, because it's not easy. What do we have here? Sean, there you go. Annette, thank you for jumping on, dear. Appreciate you. How are you? So, I'll let you share one more. I'm going to share a story real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
One that I remember.
Oh, God.
So as he kind of proceeded earlier, it was very much a yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And like when he would go to school, it was, he'd drop off. I always say upbeat, positive, stay engaged. When I pick him up for school, did you have a good day today? He's like, oh, I got a check mark. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to, like, to me, perfection was very much a thing. And like after a while, I got called in by one of the teachers, and he's just like, Mr. Bird, I understand you're kind of hard on Chris, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, thanks, none of your effing business, like mind your business. And they were just like, one check mark isn't a big deal. And I was like, not a big deal to you, who were the teacher, but for me, like, I set a higher standard, right? And that's just how I was. I had that mindset. I was kind of an a-hole. I get it. And because if you got a check mark, it was like you were talking in class or whatnot. And for me, it was more of a respect thing, right?
Yeah.
So one day I picked Christopher up from school, and we're driving home, and he's telling me, oh, I got a check mark, and I'm tearing into him. Like, I had a bad day at work, and I'm kind of taking it out on him. And I'm just like, you know better. I did the knife hand. I'm driving. I'm doing like the knife hand, and he's sitting there. And I'm just like, you know better than to do that. And he's giving me this look like, I wish you'd just shut up already. He didn't say it, but like he had the facial expressions. When your kids are thinking something, but they're not going to say it, and then it makes you even more angry because they're thinking it and then not saying it? We're at that point, just to give you a rough. So I finished talking to him, and then he says, ooh, there's a disturbance in the force. And I gripped the steering wheel, and I had to turn and look this way and bite my lip to the point where I was bleeding, because it was such an awesome comeback. And I couldn't show that it was funny. I had to like keep some type of composure that I was still mad at him. So we get home. I was like, oh, wait till we get home. And I just kept turning my head. He looks out the other way. We get home, 5 minutes later, I send him to his room. I stay outside and I call my parents and I tell them what happened. And I laugh hysterically because this one here, he's very quick on the comebacks. And he's been like that since I think you were like, what, 6, maybe 7 years old when that happened?
I use humor to get out of like getting in trouble a lot with him.
Yeah.
You mind if I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
So there's another story within this realm. We were at Fry's, which is a grocery store. Yeah. We were at Fry's at a grocery store, like right down the street. And same sort of situation. Like I had gotten in trouble at school, or I was, talking when I wasn't supposed to, something along those lines. And he's just pissed.
I know you're going.
And we're going down the aisles, and like I'm, hanging my head low. I was like, oh, I'm sorry, Dad. And he's just angry. And like I don't remember what aisle we were at. I don't even remember what started it. But I was at some point we had stopped in like the middle of this aisle, and he said something to me, and I kind of like in my head was just like, all right, I think this might be funny. And I was just like, not the face. There were people walking by going like, what the fuck is going on over there?
It was like so like my eyes were like, oh my God, I can't believe you just said that. And like there's people walking by looking like I'm beating this kid in the aisle or something. And I'm certainly not. And meanwhile, he's got this shit-eating grin on his face, like, I got you. And I was like, dude, you can't. And then it was just like, God, you can't do that. Like we left. And I got in the car. I was like, what was that? Like, you can't do that. And it's Dave, yeah. I mean, it's just one-liners, but he's been like that since he was young, where it's just like, you get mad, but that's the nice thing about being a parent too, right? You get upset and then your kid says something, and you're just kind of like, oh man, that was shit. Like I'm supposed to be mad right now, but that was a good one, and you have to. We can laugh about it years later.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
you were pissed. You were pissed in the moment.
We've had a lot of moments, like that. But I think, one of the things I think as parents is we have to make a lot of hard decisions being parents, like certain ways to raise you, and particularly fathers. Fathers, I just it's not easy for us. And again, my situation was I ended up getting sole custody of you, and I got to raise you on my own, and it was that was kind of a unicorn at the time. But you got to make tough decisions, and I think I'll share a personal story here real quick. One of the toughest decisions that I've had to make as a father was, and I got some slack on this from some friends for doing this, but he's graduating junior high, getting ready to start high school, and we're living in just outside of Phoenix, Arizona at the time, and I didn't want him to go to any of the public schools around where we lived, and it was like, okay, what can we do? And there was a few schools that we were looking at. There was you wanted to do like engineering at the time.
Yeah, I grew up.
I
grew up building Legos, and so my brain was just like,
lots of Legos.
Shit, I'll just do that for the rest of my life. How hard can it be?
Right.
And so it was actually not the school right across the street from where I ended up going, but it was in that area.
Yeah. So Uncle Bubba went to it. So there was a high school down in Tucson, Arizona that we were looking at. My parents were down there at the time, and my mom's just got this gift of like seeing things. She's like, well, let's try this school over here. It was a private Christian school that offered scholarships and stuff. And I was just like, I just heard private school, and immediately I was just like seeing like, I'm gonna have to sell a kidney on the black market or something to pay for the first semester of it. But we got lucky. You got accepted into it, and we're walking around the school, and it was one of those schools where it had a lot of money funded into it and whatnot. the grade or the curriculum was great. It was a smaller setting, and there was just more opportunities for you, as you know, because you got 18 different schools that come graduation. You had over $500,000 in scholarship offers. You wouldn't have had that at where we were. So I had to make the decision to let him go live with his grandparents during the week so he could go to a better school. On a personal, me internally as a dad, I felt like a failure because I wasn't like, oh, I'm not taking care of my kid. It was like all of the negative talk that I was doing inside. But at the time that was hard. Hindsight, though, certainly the right decision. And I share that because as fathers, again, we have to make hard decisions. And I like to think that all fathers out there want what's best for their kids, right? And you got to be stern with your kids, but fair. And for me, him going to this, having the opportunity to go to a better school, to give you a better education, to give you more opportunities in life, I didn't look at that, lightly. It was certainly something I wanted for you. I wanted to strive to make sure that you had better, and we had that opportunity. And then, fortunately, we had, I have parents that were very supportive in that, and it just worked out that you got to be close to your grandparents and get to learn from them and see what a good relationship looks like and stuff like that. As well. So, and then he chose Omaha, Nebraska to go to college. What the hell am I going to do in Omaha? Run the cornfield, but it worked out. We got
like two things in Omaha. You can find a steak somewhere, and then we have the Henry Dorley Zoo, greatest zoo in America. Highly recommend. And that's it. And every weekend, you just kind of fluctuate between what you were doing on whether or not you were going to the zoo or trying to find a place to eat.
But I think it worked out.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it was the hardest decision I've ever made as a father to date. But I also think it was the best decision I've ever made as a dad as well. So, this was good. I appreciate you, bud.
I'm glad I was able to pop on.
Me too.
It only took 12 and a half years.
It was. You've been there. I mean, you've seen me. I've seen
every stage of it.
Yeah, this. You've seen every stage of it. What, as an outsider looking in on it, particularly from the HMG business, not any previous stuff, but what's it been like watching your dad start a company and grow it while you're technically, you were still in junior high when you started, so.
Yeah, when you kicked all of this off, I think I was in 6th, 7th grade, give or take. And you've been doing it since. So for me, it's been really cool because it's been a juxtaposition between like how, like the situation we were in growing up and watching all of the new opportunities that have come to the door based off of like the work that you've put in and the community that you've built and the people that both you have helped and have also helped you. So it's been really cool, being able to go on a phone call and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm heading to Florida this week and, I'll be gone. And now I'm going over here and, I'll be there for a couple of days and, getting to hear you travel and network. And more importantly for me is like all of the people you have met throughout the last decade and a half.
Yeah.
And the relationships that you have built with them, both from a business standpoint, but also from a true relational standpoint, has been really cool to me to watch from the outside of you. It's like watching you build this house over time. And for me, it's like, all right, cool. He's doing it. And I think, to touch on what you said earlier, it was fucking hard when I went to high school, but it gave you the chance to, really hone in and focus on I got to focus on school and preparing myself for somehow being on the process to being ordained to the priesthood. And you got to hyper focus on building this company and this community that I knew had been on your heart for all of my life.
Yeah.
So it's been very affirming watching you grow things and build things out.
You learned anything from it?
Surprisingly, yes. The amount of tech knowledge I just have offhand from the weekends and weekends and weekends of you like doing radio shows and being like, kind of knowing where to plug in audio things and like how to like ensure. I've gotten really good at editing.
Yeah.
To the point where my seminary has asked me to help edit certain videos and things because I'm like, I grew up knowing how to work Audacity because I would watch him work on Audacity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've picked up a couple of things.
That's cool. Kalen's on the old Instagram. Appreciate you, Kalen, jumping in. Funny with seeing him on screen, huh? If you will. There you go. Well, hey, where'd it go?
Well, if that's the case, all right, get out of the way. Have I got stories for y'all?
I'm gonna put this up here. David, my buddy Dave Gordon. He's a character. I love him and Ken. Love those guys. Great dudes. But no, he doesn't. That's for another show. We're gonna keep this positive. It's Father's Day weekend. We're gonna keep this.
That'll be the post Father's Day video that gets out. He's not gonna be in it. I'm just gonna log into his account and post it without him realizing.
Because there's plenty of. There's plenty of. I'll tell another story real quick, and then we got to transition here. But there's a certain word that we can say because we're not traveling today, so we'll make an exception today.
God.
So anytime when he was young, we'd go on these like day trips. Like there was a day we went up to
the Grand Canyon.
Went to the Grand Canyon. We decided we're going to drive from Phoenix up to the Grand Canyon for the day, and we're like, hey, we're doing I'm afraid to say it. We're doing a father-son adventure. We'd use the word adventure. And we're driving. So we spend the day in the canyon. It was a fun day.
Oh, yeah, it was awesome.
So we're getting ready to drive back. And we were going to drive back to Flagstaff, eat, and then drive back to Phoenix. And the front tire fell off the truck. Like we're driving 30 miles an hour. We come through Tucson and the tire just falls completely off.
We are driving. I'm reading a book, and then all of a sudden, I go from being level to all of a sudden dropping down. I look over, and there's just like a small ditch that I'm looking into,
and we're like, "It's not supposed to happen." So we ended up get towed to Flagstaff. We spent the night there and had to get it fixed. And then fast forward after he graduates from high school. We're moving him from Arizona up to Nebraska to go to college. And we're just like, all right, we're going on a father-son adventure. And we get to, where was it? Like Fort Riley, Kansas or something like that?
It was, we had made it to the outskirts of Kansas City.
Yeah.
And mind you, I was driving a 2001 Cadillac DeVille, which...
Big ass boat.
Yeah, it was, it was like driving a tank. And
David, you know about those.
Yeah. And lights keep popping up, and we're like, like we can make it. And we pull into Kansas City, and we're like, all right, let's get this checked out. Like the check engine lights has been on for like the last 200 miles. Something's wrong. Pulling into a place, a mechanic shop, and they're like, yeah, your spark plugs are original. And I'm like, it's 2021. I'm like, what do you mean these spark plugs are the original spark plugs? Like these things should have been changed over 2-3 times by now. And so we're bumming it around in Kansas City trying to figure out mechanics like, I might be able to order one, but it won't probably come until Monday. And I'm like, I move in Sunday. Yeah. Like I have to be in Omaha by then.
And the mechanics were great. They ended up getting it in that afternoon.
Well, they didn't get in the parts. What happened was they had the same make and model car in their garage that they had rediscovered.
Yeah.
And they were like, I know these spark plugs are fine. So all I did was I just switched them out And like the dude was super cool. He
Yeah.
was like, I charge you just for like the service, you know, not the parts. And we managed to get on our way. But after that point, both of us were like,
we can't
use that word
can't
anymore.
use adventure.
We can't
There's
use that
no
word
adventures anymore because something always happens when we're on an adventure. So anyway, but well, appreciate it, bud. Thanks for jumping
Of
on.
course.
This is, you know, I'm
Happy to be here.
glad that I'm able to spend Father's Day weekend, you know, with you and whatnot. So I appreciate it. So all right, put the mic away. Finish the show. All right, guys. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna transition into what you missed on the shows real quick, and I'm gonna need my glasses for this one. I had to print these up. Good God. We've got some new shows on HMG, new shows that have popped out this month, and we're super excited about them. So let me talk about them real quick. We've got From the Ashes Radio, based out of Colorado. Rob Williams and the crew over at From the Ashes Radio. Go check them out. Follow them on Facebook, From the Ashes Radio, or on Instagram, From the Ashes. And follow them there. Their page on HMG will be live July 1st. So, but you can check out some of their stuff right now. I've got readers. I'm getting to that point. Go ahead. Let's hear the comments. Another new show that we have on the network. The Blue Line Voice, Blood, Sand, and Smoke this week. And Josh does a couple. Josh Waddell sits down with Jeff Pike, founder and CEO of Complete Surveillance and Investigative Services. This was a really cool episode. I want you guys to check out. And it's nice that we're bringing in more community hero type show, not just veterans, although Josh is a veteran too, but he's also a law enforcement retiree as well. So I'm loving the fact that we're bringing in our law enforcement community heroes more into HMG. So make sure you go check out the Blue Line Voice, Blood, Sand, and Smoke. What else do we got? We got Old Ranger, New Dad. Now I see what those guys do on the TV shows and stuff like that. Good God. Old Ranger, New Dad. Seth Ryan down in Tampa, Florida area. Buddy, we love you. We appreciate everything that you're doing. Great show. Old Ranger, New Dad. Check them out. That's a new one as well. Don't forget, you can go check out all the shows at heroesmediagroup.com. Show them some love. Get on their show page and check them out. Follow them out. What do we have here? You're old. Mark, I knew the comments were coming. You know, David, I'm glad you brought that up, and I'm glad you said it. Team USA shout out for today, and spare a thought for Team Scotland as well. Drinking Boston. I'm glad you brought those up. David's bringing a point. In fact, I'm going to put this up here because I did want to bring about the World Cup. Those of you, our friends up in the Boston area, how are you doing? Are you hydrated? Because from what we're hearing is that Boston got drank dry from the Scots out there. And I think that is just freaking awesome. Seeing all of the things on the social medias and the news and stuff like that about Boston running out of beer because Scotland has drank them dry is absolutely hysterical. And I'm all for it. I absolutely love it. I don't follow the World Cup. I'm not a big soccer player. I'm seeing bits and pieces of it here and there. What's the other one? The Netherlands. They're doing the Viking row. I'm seeing a lot of that stuff. I think it's cool that we're seeing a lot of these people coming in from other countries for the World Cup, and there's a positive there. I think absolutely. And the USA Team USA. Are they getting it done? I don't know. I haven't followed it. I know they won their first one. That's awesome. So we got to give them a shout out. Mark Peterson. I'm not old. I just can't read up close anymore. Is all. So back to the shows here. All right. Old Ranger, New Dad. Check it out. Mark, let's hear. They're bigger than I try to drink Boston dry. Never come. Old Ranger, New Dad. Behind the Thin Blue Line, they've got some new stuff coming out. Make sure you check it out. Uncommon Sense is another newer show. They have their show on YouTube, and they do 2 to 3 shows a week on Common Sense. Go check them out. This week on the Decision Hour with yours truly, I had my friend Kaylin Koto. Kaylin, let me tell you something. Kaylin is like a sister. We bicker. We've done business together for many years. I love her family. Her family knows my family. She is family. She runs a company called KMC Digital, and she started as a single parent, and she was a single mother, started into the business, and has grown this business to something fierce and to be reckoned with. She recently wrote a book called The Revenue Runway. This is something that every business owner is going to want to get. You can purchase it on Amazon. I'll have the links for it in the comment sections after the show. But The Revenue Runway by Kaylin Koto, this is something you definitely want to check out. Anyway, we talk about kind of how she started in the business, transitioning out of the military, being a single mother, starting a business, and then what ultimately led her to writing this book. So it's an awesome episode, being a little biased because I hosted it and Kaylin's family. Go check it out. And it's one of those ones where, like, when her and I get together, like, there's a lot of laughs in it. So it it's a good one. Check it out. Double S podcast, Gene Campbell's coming out later this week on Sunday. So check that stuff out. Boy, that is really small print. Misfit Nation podcast this week. Excuse me. They do about 3 shows a week. Rich LaMonica, and then he's got the Tuesday crew over there at the Misfit Nation podcast. This one here, what happens when childhood abuse, military service, addiction, homelessness, PTSD, and personal loss, what happens when that all collides? Well, they're going to talk about it on this episode. So check it out. It's one of the most powerful conversations ever featured in the Misfit Nation show. U.S. Navy veteran, author, speaker, and advocate Joe Pottsy shares his deeply personal story, surviving all of that and more. Check it out, Misfit Nation podcast. Homefront Sit Rep podcast this week. They did the tip of the spear. Normally that happens the last Wednesday of the month. They did it this week because next week is Mrs. Homefront Sit Rep's birthday. So happy early birthday to your lovely bride there, David. But this week we did the tip of the spear, talked about stuff that Congress is coming in with veteran benefits and stuff like that. And I'm going to dig more into those types of conversations next week. So stay tuned for that. But check out Tip of the Spear this week. It's a round table of a whole bunch of veteran-owned podcasts that come together. It was a cool episode, and I had the opportunity to be in on it. Next up, we got the Arms Room Show. Like I said last week, they're coming back. They're on break right now. They'll be back July 6th, for those of you wondering. What else we got here? Vet SOS podcast. Another great organization, nonprofit organization that has several shows that kind of fall under their umbrella. And we're honored to have them part of Heroes Media Group. Go check them out. Vet SOS. Shows this week, Operation Startup, The Scoop, Grab the Lifeline, and they have testimony, Strong from the Depths to Deliverance. Good episodes. Check it out. Keep It Spiritually Simple is next with Sandra McEllis. Go check out her show. Senior Living Guide. Some of us here definitely need to pay attention to that show. Go check that out. I tried to say it with a straight face. Sorry, guys. Next up, welcoming back to HMG, who has been on a hiatus for a little while, Shay Sparks and the Shay Sparks Show. What do we have here? Hey, David, appreciate you, brother. Happy Father's Day to you, man. Have a great weekend, brother. Be safe this weekend. Shay Sparks Show. What if the way we influence others begins with how intentionally we live, love, forgive, and lead? It's a heartfelt episode with guest Brian Aheen. Shares how faith, forgiveness, and intentional choices can reshape family relationships, marriages, and legacy. This was a great episode. Shay Sparks, welcome back to HMG. We love you. Glad to have you a part of the network. Next up, we got Boots, Stars, and Guitars Network. Another one. Tracy Laporte, Gold Star mother. She's pumping out 4 episodes a week. Go check out Boots, Stars, and Guitars on Facebook because she does them live. All of them are live. Label Free Podcast. Our gal Deanna, she's talking with Janet Garrison, creator of the charming children's book, What Do Superheroes Eat for Dinner? Those of you that are parents that have young ones that won't eat their vegetables, get this book for them. What do superheroes eat for dinner? Great episode, Label Free Podcast. Check it out. Mark, what do you got? You better catch that. Yeah, I will. Speaking of Mark Peterson and the People's Patriot Project, what do we have here? People's Patriot Project. This week, who'd you have? Alex? Is that right, Mark? Alex this week, better known as the bearded traveling veteran whose mission is simple but powerful. Connect with veterans, share resources, and help prevent the loss of more brothers and sisters in arms. Alex has traveled 53,000 miles. 53,000 miles. And he's met countless veterans across the country and has witnessed firsthand the challenges many continue to face after service. They also had special music guests, our buddy Scotty Hastings. Scotty, we love you, brother. Great job. We got your 6 at 6. Mark just put it right there. Every Sunday night, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, People's Patriot Project. They're one of the OGs of HMG. I'm not going to lie. They've been here since day one. Make sure you check them out. Last but not least for the week, we got Rise Up Voices from the Front Line. Dr. Krista Fee talks about, can we remain nonviolent in a violent world? That's a great question. In this episode, we wrestle with one of the leadership's oldest, hardest questions. We trace the arc of all these different people that I can't pronounce. This isn't just a theory for classroom. It's a daily paradox for leaders face when they hold dignity as the compass while confronting real harm. Krista does a great show. Rise Up Voices from the Front Lines. Go check it out. Real quick, give a shout out to Jim Neary's Live Bait and Tackle, Green Valley Hunters Paradise. We've also got Forget Genetics, My Tax Fella, and our sister company, HMG Beverage. That's it. Look at it. I had to print that stuff out this week. Guys, listen, to all my dads out there, big shout out to the fathers out there. It's your weekend. Also, and I'd be reluctant to say, it's June, right? So it's PTS awareness, Mental Health Awareness Month, Men's Health Awareness Month. Check on your battle buddies. We should be doing that weekly. Take 5 minutes this weekend. Give a buddy a call. Make sure you check on them, see how they're doing. Fathers out there, I hope you guys have a fantastic effing weekend. Get out, do something with the family, get your kids outside, go spend some time by yourself. Go fishing, walk it, whatever it is that tickles your fancy. Tickles your fancy? Go do that, what makes you happy, guys. It's your weekend. Don't forget, folks, go check out Heroes Media Group, all the great shows that are over there. We got some new articles and stuff. We got more coming up next weekend. We'll be back in the home office, so stay tuned for that. Get off these cell phones and the computer. Get outside this weekend. Happy Father's Day to all you dads out there. God bless you. God bless America. I'll see you guys next week. Take care. Have a great weekend.